High five.
High five.
High five. High five.
High five.
High five. High five.
You're really good at this.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
It is Bonnaroo week on the What Podcast, Barry Corder. How excited are you, baby?
This is the best. This is the best.
You ready? You good?
Well, I'm never ready till I'm there.
Have you pulled everything out?
Yep, did that this weekend.
Is everything clean? Is everything ready to go?
Clean. No critters. No
No
critters
critters.
that I can tell. No holes in tents. Yeah, everything's there.
You're not bringing an extra guest or two?
Not that I know of. Just
Okay.
you.
Nothing's crawling into the back of the car. Now, have you already thought about how everything's gonna pack into the car, into the truck? Have you already eyeballed it and come up with the whole? Okay, all right.
Done it enough times now. I delivered, met with Brian Stone and Taco on Sunday to talk about the handoffs, and got the easy up tent to Taco. He's probably already there, trying to figure out how he's getting in early.
Yeah. He's waking up in a Walmart parking lot right now. It's a big week. I am starting to see all of the videos and pictures roll in from the people driving down. You forget how, until the week of, at least I do, you forget how much of a mammoth thing this is for a lot of people that, Evan Bonnaroo had to start leaving on Sunday.
Yeah.
Well,
you're doing it. You're doing a little bit of that.
He's leaving. He's at a brewery right now. Just because it took him 3 days to get down there.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it not being 45 minutes away.
It makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the one thing that's happening if you're not doing the Bonnaroo, and it's even happening in D.C. this week and then New York this weekend, is the Reset Festival. Barry, this has sort of been going on around the entire country. It's this rolling festival with Steve Lacy, Boy Genius, Claro, and LCD Sound System. And if you're not in Bonnaroo mode and you didn't do Gov Ball last weekend, Reset Festival this weekend, still with tickets, LCD Sound System on Friday, and then on Sunday, they've got tickets as well for Steve Lacy. But this thing is exploding everywhere in the country. And to me, it's like this really fun new way of thinking about a festival-ish kind of thing, but it comes to you. And it's just this rolling operation that just comes through the entire, East Coast of the country.
Makes sense, doesn't it? We've talked about the evolution, Bonnaroo 2002 kind of reintroduces Lollapalooza before that, Coachella around it. But that's a long way to go for some people to travel to. And then the boutique festivals sort of popped out of the huge ones. How about putting a smaller one in a neighborhood near you kind of thing? And this is sounds like the next idea.
It's such a brilliant idea. 12 cities, going from as small as Columbus to New York, San Diego, L.A. I find it to be such a bizarrely crazy idea. I'd love to, after it's all said and done, find somebody that's part of it and ask them just the logistics of how all of this sort of rearranged and moved. Because in New York, LCD will be on Friday, but in DC, LCD is Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just it's like squeezing a water balloon with this festival.
We do. You need to line us up with some folks who are planning this, because everything else that we've talked about still applies. You still got to get permits and security and bathrooms and all of that.
Just now you just got to do it in 12 different places.
Now you got to do it 12 times.
With 12 different promoters too.
Yeah. That's fascinating, but what a great idea.
It is and then the other thing too that I kind of want to ask is, when you do one of these, it's around the country. You obviously have to plan that some of them are not going to do as well in certain parts of the country, right? A lot of these festivals are regional sort of things, especially the boutique ones. I wonder how they program these to the entire country and not just to certain regions of the map. Anyway, I hope they do it again. I really do hope they do it again. It was a fascinating idea.
Yeah, it is. I like it. It's a lot of moving parts. Do you book an LCD because they're on tour in that area. You're not going to ask somebody to travel across the country for one show, so you book what's local or regional. Yeah, it's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna pop in this week with a short little high five, and I don't know of the guests that we've had this year in Bonnaroo season. Of course, there's the Jim James that you can go back and listen to, which we can wax poetic after the festival's over. But the other one that we loved the most was the Noah Kahan chat, and it's particularly interesting to me. Oh, buddy, okay. You all right?
I was like, stepped on a banana peel.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So the Noah conversation was interesting to me because I went to the show at Radio City Music Hall last week, and oh my God, this Bonnaroo show is going to be massive, absolutely massive. And the only thing I'd say to anybody that's walking into the Noah show blindly, or at least listen to all of his stuff and have never seen him live. The thing that's going to be tough is everyone there knows every word and they're screaming it to the top of their lungs. It is really hard to get into the show because everyone's already like 10 steps past you with their fandom of Noah Kahan. And there were moments of it I was like, man, I just wish I was listening to him.
Yeah.
A few years ago, that Frank Ocean show at Bonnaroo was so difficult because you couldn't hear a word he was saying. Noah's not as low energy as Frank Ocean, but still, when 20,000 people are screaming at the top of their lungs every lyric.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, already enough.
Avett Brothers got that way.
Yeah, they did. That's right.
Seeing them here, and it was like I didn't come to hear the 6 people around me scream in my ear. I came to hear them, but. That's what it's become. So
yeah, that Bonnaroo show is going to be massive. But it's a great show. The new album's fantastic. Or the new song is fantastic. And if you ever want to know a little trick, the Noah album is being re-released with a couple of new songs. There's only one reason they re-release an album like this. Is because they need it inside Grammy consideration. They need to squeeze in some new material so that he can get nominated for Best New Artist.
Yep. Works for me. That was a great interview. I enjoyed it. And you're right. Jim James, obviously. And by the way, I got the Return to Thunderdome vinyl.
Oh, how is it?
Oh, it's so good.
It's
so good. The quality is so good. And even our friend Parker reached out. Was listening to it, and I think he's hyped now. I think he's all hyped
really?
About the My Morning Jacket show, yeah.
Wow, because this is not one that he even understood.
I think he and Jake had said it might be a walk by for them just because we've hyped it up so much. But now I think they're reconsidering a little bit. So
well, I think
that good.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I think those guys wanted to, beat each other up at Corn. Isn't that right? They had some reason they needed to I don't know. It's so funny that some people need to go to Bonnaroo to fist fight in a pit for some odd reason. I don't
and call it fun.
Yeah. The My Morning Jacket. Yeah, the My Morning Jacket show is a for sure a must. I can't believe that anybody would ever call it a walk by, but okay.
I know, and you hear it in this record. I mean, you.
Oh, really?
I think you get what we've been talking about for so long, or I've been talking about anyway. It's perfect Bonnaroo. It's perfect. So
yeah. Well, good. We'll go back and check that out on the YouTube or the podcast of your choice, whatever it's called of your choice. Platform of your choice. That's right. And then we'll give you a little Noah Kahan before we see you on the farm this weekend. Barry Corder, Brad Steiner. It's another high five clip on the What Podcast.
See you there.
Oh, look at there. Noah, hey. How are you, stranger?
Good. How are you?
Doing amazing. How are things?
Great. They're great.
I wonder what it's like being the biggest music star on the planet right now. I wonder what that's like.
You have to ask Taylor Swift.
Man, I can't tell you how much I love this album. I love Stick Season. God almighty, it has been stuck in my head for weeks. I ride the entire train to and from the city. I play it on repeat. I don't know. I know exactly the last song that I got this obsessed with. It was Chaise Long by Wet Leg.
Oh yeah.
Man, congratulations. What an incredible last 8-12 months this has been.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It's been a total trip, and I'm still happy playing the songs live, which is a testament that I think I actually might like the album a little bit. So thank you guys for listening to it, and I appreciate that you guys like it as well.
I wonder, you have to, you're a very smart guy. Being this part of the zeitgeist, does it feel weird?
I don't know. I feel like
it?
I don't know. It feels cool to like have a lot of people listening to the music and extrapolating their own details from it and like putting it into their own lives, and then seeing people kind of form a community around the music is what it's all about. I've been doing this for 6 years, and even when I was playing shows for like 300 people, like less than that, I still saw like this amazing sense of community in the audience and among the fans, and I still see that same community as the fan base grows. And I think that's so cool, like being able to feel like you're creating something that's creating positivity and letting people vent their feelings to each other and creating conversations around mental health and therapy. Like that's so cool. So if I can be part, I don't know what part of the zeitgeist I'm in, but if I'm doing anything and people are hearing the music and taking away their own challenges themselves and finding ways to deal with it, then I'm happy.
Well, you mentioned music as therapy. The way that you write is so, I don't know, you're so introspective. It feels like it's coming straight from your life. How much of it is therapy for you to put some of this out?
Yeah, I mean, every song has parts of me in it. And every song is helpful for me to kind of figure out what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll write things down and I don't even know I was feeling it. And then I'll read the words. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm depressed right now. Or, like I, I am sad and this is sad. And it's cool to be able to kind of figure yourself out through songwriting. So it's always been a way for me to process my emotions. I also go to therapy every week, which is really helpful and allows me to kind of have some clarity and lets me look at what I want to write about next within myself. And I think what's mostly therapy for me is seeing other people feel better about it and feel like I'm making a positive impact on people's lives, which is just so cool and should be the goal of any artist. And that's been what's been the most healing for me, is seeing people find happiness through the music.
I was just saying that we have talked to people before who've said, I wrote a song, whatever, that I never maybe intended to be public. It was just for me. And then it went public and they were shocked and surprised that it resonated with anybody else. Was there a point in your life where, I'm guessing you might have been similar. I mean, I don't think anybody sits down and says, I'm going to write this song because it's going to resonate with, 1 million people or 100 million. But at some point you have to make that transition where, you wrote it just for you, but now you realize it hits with other people. Was there a point for you with that? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I think it started like the first times that I started writing songs about anxiety and depression was just because I was feeling such an overwhelming sense of these things in my life. And then I started putting songs out because, to be honest, I had writer's block and they were the only songs that I had written. I was like, you know what, these songs I don't have a lot of other songs. These are the ones that are about sadness and the things I'm going through. And the response was so cool and so supportive from everybody, down to the label, down to my family, but definitely to the fans as well, that it inspired me to keep doing it. And I always say, like, when I was younger and I felt like there was no one else in the world that understood what I was feeling, and I heard a Paul Simon lyric or a Cat Stevens lyric, and for 1 minute I felt like someone had figured me out and that someone knew what I was going through, and I felt like I wasn't alone. And so when I sit down to write, I do try to be as vulnerable as possible, and I never think like, oh, this song is going to come out. But I think, man, if I could provide that little lifeline for some kid somewhere that I got when I was in 7th grade, that I'm doing something important and the vulnerability is worth it. But I don't make music. I make music for me, but I really do also make it for the fans. I think I'm not writing songs to cater to the fans, but they seem to like when I talk about myself, and I try to do that for them.
Consequence Podcast Network.